Being a beginner student can often feel like you're about to climb Mount Everest. With so much information floating on the web, so much to learn: chord, scales, different keys, improvisation, accompaniment, licks, lines, runs, just a barrage of information coming at you, and you feel like there's not enough lifetime to get through all of this. So much noise. In today's video, I'm going to show you 5 things to help you cut through that noise so you can get to the thing that really matters, which is really to just be able to play the songs you want to be able to play. We often get distracted by so many things floating online that we forget about the core reason why we even want to play the piano in the first place. So today, I'm going to teach you how to get rid of all those distractions, cut through the noise so you can get to the things that truly matters to you. All right, so stay tuned. That's what we're going to dive in today. And before we start, real quick, if you've been watching the channel for a while and you're finding value and you're not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can be notified when we post new content. Little things like that really does help the channel to grow, and so we can continue to provide awesome content like this week after week for you. All right? And if you're new to the channel, my name is Warren McPherson, over here where we teach you how to play piano by ear without any sheet music. So let's dive into it. The first thing that a beginner should be doing to cut through the noise is to learn your scales and learn them slowly. I know, everybody say, learn your scales, scales are important, but why is scale important? Your scale is really the building block to everything you're gonna be learning in music. Without that, music is a mystery, right? So right now you might be saying, but scales are boring, I don't want to do anything like that. Think about it like vegetables, right? As a child, you've been told, eat your vegetables, it's good for you, it's healthy for you, you don't know why, but you do it anyway. Eventually you get to come to see the benefits of eating your vegetables. Scales, the same thing. And so I recommend just start slowly and practice them 2 to 3 minutes a day. That's it. You don't need to invest hours and hours. In fact, if you're doing that, stop. 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and then you move on to something else. The goal is consistency, right? If you're able to spend 2 to 5 minutes a day on scales, within a year, you'll be playing your scales really well, all right? So I recommend, for example, we're starting with C. If you're a true beginner, just go one hand. That's it. And then the second hand. If you want to practice 2 or 3 scales a day, or even 1, that's it. You do that a few times, like I said, 3 to 5 minutes, and you would have completed 1 scale. Each day, pick another scale. And as you get better, you're gonna find that you can go a little bit faster and you can practice more scales in a day. That's it. Don't worry about how you're gonna use the scale yet and what it is for and how do you use it to improvise and all that. Don't worry about none of that. Just learn how to play the scales right away and everything will fall into place. Trust me and trust the process. The second thing that beginners need to be working on to help cut through the noise is to practice your chord progressions. Chord progressions, like scales, are the building block. Everything you're going to be doing on the piano, you need to be able to play chords. And so learning your chords and learning how to apply them to progression is a crucial part of the process. There's only 5 types of chords for beginners, right? Major chords, minor chords, diminished chord, augmented chord, suspension chord. These last 3, you won't be using anytime soon. So just focus on minor and majors for now, right? So learning those. So we always say one of the basic progressions that beginners need to learn first is the 1-4-5. 1, 4, 5, 1. And you can practice them with each hand separately. 1, 4, 5, 1, right? And then if you want, when you get comfortable, you start to practice them hands together. Now, there are some other basic progressions that I recommend beginners practice, and I'm going to link to the video for that in the description down below if you want to explore these other type of beginner progressions. But progressions need to be a part of your daily practice so you get comfortable with the shape of the chords and also playing the chords in the form of a progression, right? I recommend working on a new key probably every week. So this week you just hang out in one key, mess around with some progression, and then week 2 you pick another key, mess around with some progressions. All right? Tip number 3 for beginners to cut through the noise is to learn one song per key. One of the biggest fear for beginner is the ability to play in all 12 keys. It's like this mountain, this thing like, I'd just rather use a transpose button. But the most effective way to learn all 12 keys is to learn 12 songs, one per key. And so at minimum, see if every week, every month you can learn a new song. The goal is not about perfecting your song or working on that song indefinitely. The goal is to get through the process. So whether or not you finish the song, at the end of the month, you start a new song, regardless of where you were with the previous song. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency and going through the process. As a beginner, everything will fall into place. Trust me and trust the process. You want to learn all 12 key? Work on a new song every month and learn that new song in another key, because there's only 12 keys. So if you learn on 12 songs, one per key, within a year you would have gone through all 12 key, and this key phobia would be long gone even before the year is over, right? So if you're practicing starting with C, work with those chords, the progressions in the key of C, then the next key could probably go to F. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go through it in any particular order as long as you're learning a new song and you're learning it in a new key. One of the things I see beginners do is try to take the same song and move it to all 12 keys. That's not an effective way to do it because you're limiting yourself to just that same progression in the same keys. Opposed to 12 different songs, most likely going to have 12 different progressions or variations on the progressions. So you're getting to explore different progressions and chords within each key. Tip number 5, and this is probably the biggest tip out of everything we've covered so far. Avoid perfectionism. Let me say that one more time. Avoid perfectionism. Beginners fall into the trap of perfectionism because they go online and they see somebody play and I say, I want to be able to play the song like that. And so they spend weeks, months, even years working on one song because they want it to sound like somebody who's been playing for 20 years. Or they say, I'm just going to play in the key of C until I master the key of C. But here's the thing, it doesn't work like that. You need to learn the other skills that's going to strengthen your ability that allows you to play better. So if you're only working on one progressions or one scale or one song for weeks and for months, you're actually doing a disservice and you're limiting yourself from growing. So avoid perfectionism. Mistake is a part of life. It's a part of being human. I've been playing for over 20 years and I still make mistakes. That doesn't mean I'm not good at what I do or I can't play the song well, right? So don't fall into the trap thinking if you make a mistake, then you don't know the song that well and you just need to spend another month on it. If there's one thing to take away from this video, is avoid perfectionism. Give yourself timeline to move on to new activities. And when you get to the end of that timeline, it doesn't matter where you are in the process and how you feel. Move on. I guarantee you, eventually you'll be able to come back to that song and you're going to be like, I can't believe this song was what's troubling me, was what's giving me all that problems those times. Now I can play it so well. I've been there and I've seen countless other people go through the same process. You got to allow yourself to grow, and part of growing is moving on to other things. Don't sit there trying to perfect one thing. That's how you stay being a beginner. Now I covered 5 things that's important, but there's a 6th one that's also equally important, and that is ear training. Ear training is the lifeblood of music, especially if you want to be able to play by ear. And so, I have a video that talks about some practical tips that you can start to implement today that will take your ear training to the next level. So click there and check it out. And I'll see you in the next video.